Well, over WNBA All-Stars, man, the StudBudz took the world by storm. Minnesota Lynx, Courtney Williams, Natisha Heidemann, they did a 72-hour stream. So they showed everything. And so folks was asking some questions on there that were Channing-rated questions.
I like it.
About what they do and who they are. But coming off of that success, you know, they kind of started to rub elbows with Dave Portnoy, and they came out and said that he might be a guest on the show. And he even said something about it, but they received a lot of flack because of the way he has behaved and things he said about Angel Reese. Chan, we are in this space, and we've been in that position of interviewing all people. What do you think about the pushback they got, and what do you think they should do?
They should interview Portnoy, because that's an opportunity to call him to the table and talk about what it is. First off, big respect to the StudBudz. Think about the marginal communities they are part of. Black, women, and homosexual. Come on now, for them to have that, that's big time. We've been criticized. I know they criticize me if we ever have a Trump supporter on. Well, if it's a good conversation, it's a good conversation. And those are the conversations that really make it, not an echo chamber. Yeah, I like this too. We like this, I like this too. That's not a good conversation. Have a conversation, have Portnoy on their show and talk about the situation and put it out on the table, and that's how it's really supposed to be. And I think any criticism is silly for them to criticize those beautiful young women for anything they do on their platform.
When you talk about Dave Portnoy, obviously the way he built, you know, his successful business, Barstool, it's unfiltered. It's everything what the StudBudz are doing right now. It's a marketing win for the WNBA because we're getting inside access, right? These platforms were made, right, for people to come on and be able to tell their story. If you think Dave is saying something or you feel some type of way about him, the best way to get to the bottom of it is to hear him say it. Allow him to come on your show, then press him. Ask the right questions, and then let him tell why he feels a certain way about Angel. He just said he didn't like her. Why don't you like her? Like, really dive into it. So everybody that's voicing disagreement with them bringing them on, I think that's the wrong way to feel. Bring them on, give him all types of questions, right? Be unfiltered, you know, nothing's off limit. And I think he wants to come in that way because one thing he knows how to do is market. He's a frat boy. That's what he does. He wants the drama. He wants the attention. And I think a sit down with him will give them, you know, a great runway. It puts eyes back on Barstool and Dave Portnoy and everything else. It puts eyes on the WNBA. It puts eyes on Angel. Eyes still continued on Caitlin. It's a win-win for everybody. Have the conversation. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, and I think that's a great take, Fred. You know, when I think of the StudBudz sitting with Dave Portnoy, I think of priorities, right? If you're Courtney and Natisha, like, what is your priority? If your priority is to build the StudBudz as big as you possibly can, then why wouldn't you invite on someone who has built one of the biggest platforms of new media in Barstool? But there's also who do you serve, right? We've dealt with that before. You know, you mentioned having supporters of the president on our show, and we get an opportunity to ask those questions. But in a lot of ways, that's not just who those people are, right? We had Andrew Schultz on, and he wanted to have a conversation about what he said, why it wasn't intended as it was taken. Dave Portnoy is not going to do that. Not only did he call Angel Reese a classless piece of shit after the NCAAs, he's continued to double down on his dislike and disdain for her. And he's exactly, if you're servicing the WNBA viewers, he's exactly what you don't want. You don't want people to feel like because you like Angel, you have to dislike Caitlin Clark. I'm a fan of both ladies. I think they're both great for women's basketball. And he is part of the Caitlin Clark following that makes people hate her fans or dislike her fans because they do feel like they have caused this division between two players who are actually elevating the game, and you can't compare in playing styles. And so for me, it's about making the decision that if he comes on our show, are we going to hold his feet to the fire about this, knowing that he won't change his mind? The Dave Portnoys of the world have been empowered and feel entitled to feel, talk, and be any way they want to anyone. When I look at Caitlin Clark, who I do like, who gain my love, I would never call her a piece of shit because I respect her. And as a man, I shouldn't speak of a woman like that. So to me, when you start off that way and continue to pile on this young lady, that's not a level of fandom that you are subscribing to, it's a level of hate. And we've had enough division in this world. So for the StudBudz, it's, can I have a conversation that is somehow fruitful to the people that support me and watch my show while using Dave Portnoy to build my brand? I'd invite him on. I'd have the conversation with him. And I believe that they should too, understanding what's at stake when you do.